Hey everybody that plays WWE Champions. Welcome to the first iteration of the Roundtable podcast. I'll be the host today, TuBob29. I also have with me four amazing guests that are here with me on the kickoff show. Please feel free to introduce yourself, starting from the top down.
All right. Danger Kitty B. You can find me hanging out in Creepy Dreams, and shout out to the guys in Tubeman as well.
This is David D from David D Gaming. You know where to find me. If you don't, Google is your friend.
Broken 963 here. I'm your resident faction hopper from faction to faction because, yeah, this game sucks.
My in-game name is Merrick's. If you know me on Discord, it's Cable Guy, so you'll probably hear these guys call me Cable, but Merrick's in-game.
All right, and that's your cast for today. The plan today is to just have a nice hour, maybe a little bit longer podcast discussing a couple of current events such as the Showdown coin issue, the monthly contest, the Drew card, the Gargano card, just a couple of things that are going on in Champions today. We're not really trying to attack anything in particular. We're just trying to get everybody a voice on what's going on today. So I'll start off and mention the Showdown issue, quote unquote, where people are having that they collected their coins, but it did not count towards their faction leaderboard. I think Cable over here had a 91,000 point difference, it looked like, in in coins versus faction. It's
Yep.
It's going around pretty hard. I don't know what everybody else's issue is or what their point difference is, but definitely suggest everybody look into that. Maybe see if you could talk to your faction leader about that, if there's something you can do about it. Personally, I didn't have such a huge difference. I had like a 300 point difference, 290 points, something like that. But I collected mine just on reset at 3:01 or 3:02 in the morning Eastern. So I'm not really sure what the correlation is between the solo and the faction or when you collected it, but it definitely seems to be an issue. If anyone has any takes on that, definitely feel free.
Yeah, mine's about 15,000. I collected right after the deadline also. So our faction leaders have just said to screenshot the difference. We're not close to the final milestone, though. We're at the next to last, and I don't think it's going to make a big difference. So we probably won't do anything about it.
Yeah, I'm only missing like 2,000 points. So it seems like very sporadic how this is playing out. I don't know if there's a method to the madness or something.
It's Scopely programming.
Scopely is the only company that I know of that can have something going on every week and then screw it up 1 week after it's been fine.
It's something.
But I guess what it comes down to is when you have people inexperienced or low-budget people doing the work or whatever their process is, clearly copy-paste does not always work.
No, the typical Control-C, Control-V did not work this time.
I heard that they had moved stuff over to a new server, but I figured by now they would have worked all the bugs out.
This one has 2 hamsters.
Clearly one of them was sleeping.
They had to put him down, poor guy.
Oh, sad day. We need to fund a new hamster for that new server.
4 people tried to access the blog at once, and it just killed him. He was dead.
I mean, it's like I said, unfortunately, it's the one event that Scopely hasn't seemed to screw up since they fixed it after the first one. And now all of a sudden, this is going to have bugs, so this pretty much was the last straw. Everything will be bugged at some point or another.
I've noticed something about what's going on in the game. We'll cover it later, but I don't know if you guys notice what time of year everybody gets the most pissed off and think about the events that have happened in the game where everybody's really angry and think about what month it was when it happened. it's all the same. It's always this time of year every year. If it's D9 or if it's the Vader event or if it's this Bailey event, it's always this time of year. Every year.
Yeah, you have me really excited on the May the 4th.
Hey, at least I have a real Harper this time.
Please, no more May the 4th events.
I mean, you gotta look at it like this. It's, what, a week away? And God knows what they're gonna do.
Alright, so yeah, bottom line, definitely look into your showdown coins, see what your individual score is in the solo, and then your individual score in the faction event.
Yeah.
There's probably some discrepancy there, even for someone, like I was saying, I collected at 3:02 in the morning, even though it's minimal, it's 300 points difference. It definitely seems weird, like there is. All the point scoring methods are the same. For using a health pack or getting coins or any of those point methods, so it is kind of weird that there's any sort of deviation between the two. Just check it out. So I think next we could possibly talk about the monthly itself, the chase for the quote unquote Sasha gear, and the Bailey tokens, which I thought was an interesting one. I found this month kind of funny that everybody really wanted Bailey a whole lot more than they wanted Sasha.
Oh yeah.
When those previews came out, and even with the gear, it became clear as day that everybody was saying Sasha's only good, or decent, if you want to use that word, or whatever you'd like to say, with the gear.
Some lucky person has 2 copies of the gear.
You're
talking about milestone and leaderboards?
Yep.
Oh, jeez.
Well, they fought all that and spent all that money on, what's it, like 30 gear?
I don't know.
But the good news is we've got a lot to use the gear chips on, and we've been promised that things were coming. So, as I said, stock up on them gear chips.
I hope I can spend all 20,000 of mine somewhere.
Jeez.
Yeah, you guys probably have thousands upon thousands, if not tens upon thousands of gear chips and pre-run ones.
It's insane.
I was lucky enough to pull Zombie Austin several times with his gear chip.
I have to post that regularly. Like, if only there was some mechanism in the game where we had some kind of currency we could exchange for gear, that would be amazing. If only we had that.
They really should work on it, even if they feel like they have to redo them and have like a ratio of what your old one to new one could be kind of similar to the inventory cleanup. Like,
yeah,
I'd be okay with that.
Even if they had to redo it, I think that's okay. I don't think many people would have an issue with it because they'd actually be used instead of, oh, I got more gear chips, in 2020, which are still not being used.
I mean, there's no excuse for like Kofi Kingston's OG Kofi Kingston's gear to not be exchangeable for chips.
Yeah, no, they still haven't done that, but the one thing they did do is put it in the Showdown store so you can use your Showdown coins on it. That's the one thing that they decided to sell it for. Go figure.
It's not. Don't forget all the prize walls they toss it in too.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to the monthly, the Sasha gear itself. I thought it was kind of interesting that they threw it in the feud milestone.
I mean, I'm okay with that.
I don't think anyone's opposed to it, but how much so from a leader's aspect or part of being in a faction aspect, how much more activity did you guys see from everyone that wanted to feud that didn't want to previously because the gear was in it and they no longer needed to chase the entire monthly now instead?
To be honest, I hardly feud. I probably do like 1 or 2 matches just to say I was there to get my prizes. But the reason I feuded so much this go around was not necessarily because of the gear. It's because the solo milestones were so good. I was like, I gotta get in on this,
Yes, right.
So I mean that was something that needed to be done a long time ago because the solo milestones for feud with like that for like how many years is like really outdated compared to the amount of time and effort we put into feud. I mean, what was it like? At 1.2 million, you get like how many diamonds? Something like
Like
ridiculous.
500 diamonds, I think.
Yeah, something stupid like that.
Mhm.
I mean, if you
Who
want
can resist?
F feud is supposed to be like the bread and butter of this game. You really got to incentivize people to have a reason to do it besides, keeping their faction spot.
Right.
Preach.
It's a combination of those two things. The fact that they definitely increased those milestones overall. You got, I think it was a strap, an epic strap inside of there.
Mhm.
And the amount of ingots that you ended up getting, the coins that you ended up getting,
Yeah.
it was definitely nice to see. And for those that did want to reach for that very top milestone, whether they had the characters or not, I think it incentivized all these people to start playing more. And if you looked at that solo milestone leaderboard, and you looked at that rank where it finished, I think it was at 5 mil to get the gear. If you saw someone's rank around there and you compared that to how many people previous to that feud had hit 5 million points, how many people had hit 5 million points before this feud? Not very many, in the
True.
sense of hundreds.
Nope.
Maybe 100, maybe 200 at max. You compare that to the solo feud number. When I finished, I was somewhere close to 5 or 600 rank when I finished, and there was still hours left on the leaderboard, and I was still seeing people in my faction posting up 700, 800, 900 rank, meaning there's almost 1,000 people now that are scoring 5 mil, which used to be the old school, according to them, quote unquote, 50 mil. You gonna tell me 1,000 people are gonna score 50 million points in feud? To me, that's incentive. That's people that want to save their entire monthly investment on that gear, even if they don't have the character, which a lot of people now have that one in their roster, which I think is kind of funny. I'm one of them. And you can't get rid of it. It doesn't work like the other ones.
So for me, I typically don't feud very much because the perks for feud are so expensive that it doesn't outweigh what I get back. And this one, I shelled out to get the MP up ones just so I could start faster and not have to burn as many health packs. And anything for me that's grindable, like if it's a grindable event, I will go hard for it. That's how I am. I don't really. If you're telling me you're going to give me something grindable and it's free, it doesn't necessarily even have to be good. I'm going to try to get it. I'll get whatever I can for free from Scopely any chance I can. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And in this event, the real thing was the freaking skill plate. That skill plate is
man, yeah.
so
I had something come up and had to bail before I could get the skill plate, so it still hurts.
Yeah, that skill plate is an interesting one. That thing is weird, but also a monster at the same time. Some people, I think it's Andrade, can't do it even if you choose 6 yellow gems, because it's a choose. But if you use NWO Big Show, that it works because it's a random yellow gem destroy. I'm not sure of the activator still on it. It seems like it's not working 100%, which typical. Yeah, I know we can all say that.
Scopely programming.
I wanted it for Matt, and I actually feuded for the first time. To me, that frees up a trainer spot if you don't want the extra cross breaks. If you do want all of them, then that's fine. You're just going to blow up more of the board. But like I said, that solo milestones, it gave you a reason to feud, in my opinion. And it let you feud at your pace instead of having to worry about the whole faction prize. I think it's better because you're not relying on everybody else for your hard work. Whereas it used to be, you got the same prize whether you put up 1 million or 30 million points. So this was something better. The whole leaderboard for Sasha's gear, while Sasha's gear was in the milestones, to me was asinine. But hey, that's, I guess, why they don't pay me to come up with events for them. We did say something to them about it, and they said it was intended like that, just in case nobody hit the final milestone, which is beyond me.
Yeah.
But that was their reasoning behind putting it in the leaderboard in case nobody maxed it. And like we said, when was the last time somebody didn't max one of those feud events?
Exactly.
I mean, come on. But if they continue doing feuds this way, I would be more interested in feuding. And I'm somebody who hasn't feuded in almost 6 months.
I was going to add on to that. Yeah, I haven't feuded as much as I did this past feud. I think for the combination of all other 2020 WWE Champions feuds.
Oh, ditto, man. I don't think I
I
feuded
would agree.
that much.
I think I feuded more this one feud than the rest of this entire year combined, and obviously by proxy scored more. And I think
I
that just
probably
speaks
haven't
to
feuded
it.
that hard since 2018, man.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I mean, personally, like I said, I wanted the skill plate. I personally didn't get it because I have a love-hate relationship with this game. Sometimes I really want to try do the monthly, and then I'm like, you know what, screw this, I can't be arsed. But even though I wanted to, once the server started to crap out real bad, I eventually said, you know what, this is why you don't play the game anymore. Just close the damn thing. You got better things to do, like hang out with your family and stuff. So that's what I opted to do.
Yeah, I've been there, man.
1,000%.
But I'll give them credit for. I mean, I guess it makes it more frustrating. They are capable of running an event that incentivizes people to play, and they don't.
I'll be honest. It's people like me that probably screwed up all the servers and everything because the solo milestones were so good. More people actually wanted to feud and play the game, and that's probably what overdid this.
So it was you.
No. You're lying to me. Come on, man. Don't just blame this on me. Breaking servers again, breaking factions. What else is he doing?
You killed the hamster.
Yeah, let's not talk about it.
That was super frustrating though, like because I knew I was gonna have to play a ton to get it, and then logging in and then having your guys die, everyone else 0, and multiple times trying to get back in. So I think I got what did they send us, 80 health packs in the mail, and I probably lost 300-400 or at least.
But that dude, that plate I think is for certain characters. I think that's a game changer, really.
Yeah, it's bonkers.
The fact that it works on Vince, it works on. I'm not a huge fan of it on Dango because you want the protect gems to stay on the board, but on Vince it seems to be a huge nightmare. On NWO MDM is another huge one that everyone seems to love because you can destroy it with the pin bar not moving if you cascade right.
And even guys that haven't been played a lot, like Striker Austin, he gets into his choose move very quickly, and then that's nasty.
Yeah. What do you guys think about if they ever did a skill plate loot?
That'd be interesting.
Unfortunately enough, I'd give them more money.
With their odds, yeah.
The odds, that's the thing, yeah.
It would depend, I was going to say, on what, would it be loot coins that we're doing, like a $20 loot coin for one pull at one of these skill plates type of things?
Oh my god, $20 for sync. Never mind. Scrap that idea.
Exactly.
I was going to say, don't give them the idea, fam. Don't give them the idea.
Oh my god, $20 for a single pull.
You know it's going to be a thing, because it's on a legendary plate, not an epic plate. And it's going to be, maybe you get the perfect one that's, you finally got a secondary botch skill plate, and you could put it on Lex. They're going to find a BS way to try and sell it to you. You know it.
I mean, realistically, we have seen the high roller NWO loot go up to $100 for, what was it, 2 pulls?
2 pulls.
So,
yeah,
don't put it past.
That was the monster.
Also, some choice weed they were smoking.
Very similar.
The zombie strap loot was actually very good. That was the only time I've seen one of those actually be good.
That was good.
That's because that one was bugged. You got the feature more than you got the.
I just say I've got plenty of skip straps for the zombies.
I have skip straps for the zombies I don't even have, which isn't many.
I may have them all. I'm embarrassed.
Same here. I'm very, very blessed to have gotten Zombie Taker from the last event. It was nice.
Oh man, I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I actually got him as a 3-star pull when he was first offered, so I know.
Wow.
So back to this other thing. Final mention between the Bailey tokens and Sasha. You guys, I'm assuming you guys all want more Bailey tokens to take her out versus actually getting Sasha from this
Oh, yeah.
monthly. Everyone's Sasha shard count is pretty damn low, to say the least. Even this long throughout the month.
Well, I knew that their tokens would catch up. They always do. You think you're scrambling for tokens, and by the end of the month, you've got 500-600 extra that you don't even use. But there's no Bailey shards anywhere. You're having to hard level the moves with your own TP, and there's no shards in the key pools. There's no offers, nothing. And this was because it was 2 females in a month when they removed the mixed match, so they became less important. They're already going to have to kind of bait people into participating in a month-long event with 2 females when they've had 2 female events recently already.
Right.
And I was expecting them to kind of lay out a honey trail, and instead that week 1 was an absolute pile. So I checked out in terms of doing it, and I wasn't even going to worry about it. So I've just been taking whatever and leveling who I want to and not worrying about it.
Yeah, same approach here.
Well, in fairness, they kind of laid that bait for us a year ago, if you stop and think about it. The last female that they released in a month-long event that everybody said, fuck it, we don't have the resources, we're not going to go for this, was Tech Becky.
Tech Becky. Yeah.
And in response to everybody not going for it, they said, okay, well, this is going to be a required character for all premium events for the next 6 to 8 months. So it's they're feeding on your FOMO, where you're afraid to miss out on something because you're skipping this now.
If anybody still wants Tech Becky, I've had her, and she's not great.
She's not great, but she's required. You know,
That's true. That's very true.
And the rumors that she becomes great with the gear, and how expensive are they making the gear nowadays?
If only we had some sort of in-game currency we could exchange the gear.
Yeah, back to that gear mention.
The rarity of the gear is almost as exclusive as the Volkov gear, for being realistic. Which,
the big red
again,
machine gear
I think I'm gonna load up. I'm gonna load up that Volkov, or I'm gonna load up the game and see if I can grab that Volkov gear with my gear chips quick.
That big red machine gear, though, is something they really need to look into.
Yes.
They really need to look into doing that.
I was short. That hurt too.
I ended up choosing the Volkov one over the Kane one because my Kane was just fodder, and
I didn't have enough.
No.
I got the Ray gear, so it's sitting down in my roster waiting for me to actually have Ray.
Have Ray, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. another character similar to Tech Becky, where a lot of people's FOMO.
600 shard strong for months now.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I got that nice Hollywood Hogan gear, but Hollywood Hogan is coming soon.
With this monthly, the monthly chase is one of my favorite things. Actually, I really like it. I love hitting milestones, chasing it, going for it. I haven't missed since the ones you guys are talking about. I missed Tech Becky. I missed Ray. My roster was way lower then, but I have since Edge came out. I haven't missed a monthly chase. I'm 2.4 million points into this one, and I maxed the talent up, and I have 1,135 Sasha shards. I won't even get close to the 2K needed, and that's just stupid with like a 1.2 million roster. Yeah, for me it's super frustrating because that's with them feud. They basically, to me, have killed with perks, although this past one was a little bit better, but you still needed perks. Now, if they start taking the monthly contest out of it, then it's like when you have huge rosters like us, it makes no sense to pull because there might be 1 or 2 guys in there that you could potentially get with crap odds. So what is there to go after if there isn't a monthly guy to chase?
Yeah.
Man, that Edge event was so good.
Mm-hmm. And the Dango event too. The one they actually offered.
Well, those
the
events
and the prize
came
one.
off of bad feedback for how crappy the game was.
Which about the same time, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And I've been waiting for a month like that. And I'll be honest, me personally, I start out every event. I did the NWO event. I was like, I want the big show because I want all the NWO characters still. Then they started releasing all this other crap there in the month, and the premium events and this that. They got to leave the monthly and the premium events separate. Like they have to do that. I understand they want to make money, but come on.
At least we got Brett out of that one. No matter what you did, you got a good character at least.
I never looked at Brett, but I'll take your word for it.
I've got him max 4 gold with a turn skip belt. Man, he's very, very good.
Yeah, Brett's awesome. Really good.
He's the one I target the most in Showdown.
Yeah, Perks kill him, man. Perks, unfortunately, pulling his MP down. He needs 2 matches to go off, and that's asking a lot.
Yep. But like, if you're talking, if you want to load him like for using for like tours, any of that kind of stuff, and compare him with high striker moves, like any striker that's choosing black, almost all of them are high MP ones. So they all run into that same kind of issue, the high MP strikers. So.
Yeah. It's always the ones that need 2 matches. Oh, here we go. Finally found these pictures. I was looking for the Sasha Shard pictures that they were offering during Feud, and that's apparently where we missed out. If we didn't spend $100 for 160 Sasha Shards, and then $200 for an extra 240, which is a grand whopping total of what, 400 shards? So we would have to pay $300 for 400 shards. We'd also get, I guess, for ourselves. Oh, that's the extra buckle for the perk, the special scoring perk. So I guess we wouldn't need to feud as much. 150 health packs, some show of heart props, and then turnbuckles for the month. That's pretty much it for $300.
It's like I had mentioned to Scopely when NWO Macho was a thing and they released the $50 pack with his shards. I specifically told them, hey, look, people aren't going to bite on this if math shows that they're going to be 10 shards short and they don't know how often you're going to offer this 2-shard deal. It's outlandish to offer these deals so early on, because it's the people that do buy them and they wind up with like 30 extra shards. Now they're going to be pissed they spent $200 on all these extra shards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And again, they're capitalizing on that FOMO, where if you didn't buy them, whoops, screw you. But even still, with that being said, that's 400 shards. Let's just say that you wanted to drop the 300 for whatever reason. Would 400 shards right now make sure that you got the character by the end of the month, which is in 7 or 8 days now that the monthly event ends?
I don't think it would.
Yeah.
In fairness, how many shards does it require to get Sasha? I honestly
2,000.
2,000.
All right, so in that case, I think I'm closer to getting Hogan with shards than I am with Sasha with shards. And I'll be honest, I think I've got 15 Hogan shards now.
Oh, God.
I've got about 400 Sasha. So no thanks.
Yeah. So.
So part of what was said earlier about like this time of year and being bad events and stuff, and then it seems like Christmas time we usually either get some like really good loots or really good characters, and people spend a ton. This year we had Hogan. They made a killing in December, and we had some good events besides Hogan. There's the faction one where we got all kinds of TP at Christmas time, right? So I feel like Scopely makes a bunch of money at the end of the year, and then they start their new fiscal year and they say, you know what, we made this much money, let's see how far we can push the envelope.
That's exactly what it feels like.
And then we get these month or two of crap events, and the community is like, okay, eventually we get sick of it and we're like, well, this is crap, these events suck, and then it goes back to decent events. So hopefully that continues, because this kind of month is no fun for anyone, and let's face it, at least I play games to have fun, and it's not fun being pissed off all month.
Yeah, no, you're 1,000% right on that. I agree with
I agree. There's plenty of things they can do. They need to do some sort of monthly contest. Even if they go back and start doing the vaults again, where you could possibly get the character in the vault, and then the top 500 or top 1,000 people get the character.
Like Hall of Fame.
That wasn't a bad, kind of, sort of, but that Hall of Fame characters is another thing. They need to give out a free-to-play Hall of Fame character. If they're going to be using this as a feud slot and this, that, and the other, me personally, I spent a couple hundred on Sting. I didn't play at all for Booker, so I didn't get Booker. I spent on Lita, didn't get Lita. I have no Hall of Fame characters personally, and anytime there's any event that requires Hall of Fame characters, it's a hard pass right from the start.
The Hall of Fame event was so weird because you basically needed a cheat code in the form of the mega turnbuckle bomb in order to get Booker.
It was
like a hidden path. It was weird. It was very weird.
It was very, very hard for that month in particular, where it was very resource heavy for Booker in that month, I think, and not everybody that was around even had the resources or desire to do it.
Well, having been at the 1,000 notoriety level in Showdown, I want to say it seems like everyone has Hall of Fame Booker.
Oh my God!
Yeah. It's the new Z Austin. I'm not going to argue.
Oh my God!
And I can't complain because that's who I was using. But
yep.
I mean, I was using NWO Macho on defense, and I got attacked very few and far between because nobody really wants to deal with a 2-charge blue.
Nope,
that's
leave
just
him alone.
Gonna refill up
Leave him
over and over.
Him and the Bludgeon Brothers. Just stay away.
I can't lie.
Yeah,
I tried out the Zombie Kane defense this time around. I got attacked a little more than I wanted to for Silver, Zombie Kane, and Zombie Page. And then I was like, all right, let me put up the old school defense back, which was for Tech Black instead of Zombie Kane, and the 83% gem reduction on him, which not a lot of people want to fight that. That I think is the new trainer check.
At 4 gold, you will get attacked less with Zombie King because I have used Zombie King as my defense, and you're gonna win, sure, but it's gonna cost you health.
Unfortunately, Booker slices him down too. I have a 4 gold Kane and put him up, and he gets barbecued by Booker left.
And then Booker just eats up everybody.
I mean,
Booker's a turn 3 kill, man. That's what he does.
Yep.
You know who's still surprising to face against in Showdown? Aleister Black. He gave my Booker T that work. I said never again.
Tech Aleister Black?
Yeah, never again. Disrespectful, man.
Is that maybe what happened where we didn't have a video of the defense? Oh man, is that what happened? Oh,
no comment.
83% gem reduction is a little bit rough. I'm still waiting for that tier 4.
God,
Still waiting for that tier 4 armor. Dude, I can't get any armored medals at all anymore nowadays. I can get like 12 or 13 or 16 medals out of anything, and none of them come out armored. Forget percent or flat, none of them are armored.
Wow. It's crazy.
Never happens.
But I mean, talking about Showdown, you're right. Everybody's using either Zombie Austin or Hall of Fame Booker. Zombie Austin with his gear is kind of outrageous, especially with a skip turn belt on him.
Yeah,
that's not something you want to go up against. So you're constantly refreshing, and that's why I said I target all the Bret Harts because they're plentiful. Because everybody got them from the event. That's their highest character. So screw it. That's what's first.
And that's low health because he's a striker. Makes sense.
Yeah.
I show down a little differently. I think I want to get through it as fast as possible, and I run the Fashion Police both for 4-star gold, and then Dango double strapped. This one I couldn't Fashion Police it, but Dango double strapped with gem reduction and then his finisher. Mm-hmm. So I actually don't even check people's stuff. I just attack whoever it is. I'll pick. I generally pick. Interestingly enough, I will take and go for Tech Black every time I see him because Tech gem damage is lower anyway. So he doesn't kick out like Hogan can kick out, especially if he's got T training with the extra
the base
red
gem damage. Yeah, that's hard.
Yep. And then Booker T I'll beat every time, but he will because of class advantage, but he will chew me down for sure. Those are the two I like to face the least because Booker, no matter what, I'll beat him every time, but he's going to cost me health packs. But So, and the Trickster is annoying, although I'll fight him because their gem damage is low, but when they dodge, it makes me want to throw my phone.
Oh my god.
That 3% feels like it's 30%, man. It's such BS.
That's why I put Macho there, because he's got that 2 blue and he's a trickster. So
Yes,
if you
screw
really
that
want to
guy.
test your luck, go ahead.
No, I don't.
Not interesting at all. The Hall of Fame Booker thing, though, it's kind of cool because regardless who you are, other than NWO Big Show, which congrats to anyone and everybody that has them, I unfortunately didn't get them. But if you have to go against a Hall of Fame Booker and you don't have NWO Show, where you're freezing all those gems down in the bottom rows, he's gonna hit you for 70k every turn at least.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you're wiping out his power gems, all 4 of them every single turn, he gets another 4 every single turn. And the worst part is if you don't wipe it out and you have that gem reduction and you're trying to go for that early pin and you even leave one of them on the board, that one of them that's sitting there with plus 13,000 power is 40,000 kick out damage that doesn't get blocked by anything. So it's rough because they get 3 turns to kick out and it goes every turn. So it's brutal. That's not a card that a lot of people want to face anymore. I think he's better at being a nuisance, quote unquote, than Zombie Kane. I don't know. I don't really think Zombie Kane is as bad anymore until you get him at 4-star gold, where if you can get him to focus those red gems over the yellows, which it doesn't seem to be too hard, you could actually get that red move charged up on his first turn. So if you don't turn one him, he can kick out of pretty much anything.
Have you
I
guys?
think Zombie Kane's main issue is how tanky he is, how much health he actually has.
Yeah. Have you guys ever fought a frickin' Dango when he keeps every time you pin him, he can kick out because in every turn he keeps doing it? Like I've had a couple where the matches just went forever, Dango versus Dango, and we both kept doing that. Gosh, I hate that.
Yeah, Dango's a roughie, man. Dango, and they won't tag out because they always have a move charge. Same thing with Tech Black. That's the only reason I'm not huge of putting him in the first slot, just because he doesn't ever want to tag out. Speaking of Showdown, let's not go with this most recent Showdown going on right now because we already talked about the whole coins. We can talk about the Gargano event. So what do you guys? Yeah, let's take a 5-minute break and talk about the Gargano event. How did you guys all love doing your tours blitz or anything else Gargano related without Gargano? Anybody?
Wait, was there a Gargano again?
I got through that so fast.
As soon as it dropped.
Yeah, I've never finished an event so fast.
Yeah, just right away, man. Just snapping the fingers and you were done.
I'll be real here. Corporate stooge speak or not, you can't really blame him for having a premium event. He's got a really nice coach ability. Do I think it was masked as everybody can do blitzes and stuff based on the blog? Sure. But you can't begrudge them for wanting to make money. It's just how often they're doing it.
It's the timing. It's the timing.
I
it's
agree.
A bad event.
Supposedly, the math states that without doing any pulls, without spending any money, you could get the Razor for free if you didn't already have him, which if you don't have him, that is a huge gain for you.
That is massive.
But the fact that they put Tech Becky at the end was kind of another slap in the face.
Yeah, I think them calling it an event is what bothered me more than anything. Like when megas drop, okay, they drop. I just assume I'm not going to pull. I'm not going to get them. No big deal. But I hate when they call what turns into basically a mega, or all it was a mega, and then they call it an event. That's what I find annoying. But I agree with you. They need to have premium characters where they can make their money. I mean, eventually 6 months to a year, I'll get them for free if I don't want to spend. That's just the way it is, you know.
Well, it's like Gerson said, it's back to back to back to back to back to back.
Yeah, it really is. It truly is.
I mean, I'll be real here. I did spend 400 on the chase because I did want his coach for Zombie Austin. And I lucked out. I got a whole 15 shards of them, so I'm pretty happy about the event.
You beat the odds.
You actually got shards. Good job.
Uh,
Oh my god.
yeah, I decided, I woke up and I was like, alright, screw it, let me see. I'll throw $20 at the wall and see if it sticks. I ended up getting 70 shards and I'm like, wonderful, this does nothing.
Nothing.
Like,
Uh,
it's like, okay, well, it would have been nice if it hit, but I mean, you're sitting on shards that are most likely not going to be used again until 6 to 9 months down the road when he's probably offered as a secondary card like Razor or AJ in one of these showdown events in the milestones.
Yep.
It's
That's
it's
it's probably.
I don't think he's such a good tech that you're not going to be able to get him in the future or the near future even. I just think he's the new thing.
He'll be used to gatekeep content for 5 or 6 months.
He's gonna be
And
the
then
new
that's
Tech
it.
Becky. Yeah, it's gonna be the new Tech Becky.
it's frustrating as someone like I'm a pretty big NXT fan. I actually prefer it to main roster, and Gargano is one of my top guys. Ciampa's easily my favorite. I just hope when they come out with Ciampa, you don't need Gargano to get Ciampa. I was super stoked for this release in general, and then that just got crapped all over on. Like I would probably attempt to spend for Ciampa if I thought I had like a possibility. So let's say they release like an event where you have like 8 of 10 and then you could spend another 100, 200, 300 to max it. Those are the ones where I'll spend now if I can guarantee myself a guy. Otherwise, I wait to spend.
If it's a
kinda
guaranteed
like the Drew
match.
McIntyre.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
the Drew McIntyre event was perfect.
Yeah.
It had a lot of rare characters that not everybody had. Some people, like Bob, I'm sorry for saying this, but Bob had to spend. I didn't.
Yeah. Happens.
But I was in the minority of not having to spend. And even though I didn't have to spend, I still dropped a couple $100.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I ended up getting lucky for the Drew event after spending. I ended up saying screw it. I saw the true potential in that card. Through thankfully through Davey actually throwing up one of the builds.
oh yeah.
Per
Got
request.
to.
It really showed how drastically good that card can be, and that card, man, I was having that, and he wasn't maxed. I hit the 4-star silver fuse up for him from the shards after getting lucky
Nice.
on some of the pulls. I got like 100 shards in one pull, 50 shards in another, and the guaranteed shards that came with the purchases, it was enough to eventually not only get the card from the showdown, but the enough shards for the card itself. I ended up doing his tour at like 2-star bronze, I think is where we got him at, and I took him to 2 silver, and I ended up doing his entire hard mode tour, and I'm like, yeah, this card's pretty
Wow.
much the truth. This is
Nice rewards.
Oh yeah, and it
Yeah,
has more of his own shards, and that's how I could get the fuse up for him and go to hell mode with that card. So yeah, he's a monster. He gets increased by a whole bunch of things. I think the event was huge. It sucked that I didn't have Acrobat Ricochet or Rey Mysterio, and then I think there was Tech Becky was another one that was required on that one.
Yeah, I think
No,
so.
Lita,
Tech
Hall of
Becky
Fame
wasn't
Lita.
because Lita was the only one I had that I
Oh,
couldn't do.
yeah.
That one I
Hall of
could
Fame
do.
Lita.
It was Powerhouse Angle, right? That was the other one. I
Yeah,
didn't. Yeah,
he
I
was
don't have.
needed.
I don't have Powerhouse Angle either. I did have Hall of Fame Lita. Ended up getting that in the vault in 1%. That was super awesome. Still is super awesome. I have to take her up to 9K. I have the tokens for it, but I need to get enough to take her to 4 gold. But the showdown event, even though I had to spend and get Drew out of it, I feel it was worth it because like Cable was saying, it's a guarantee. It's a point where you're like, okay, I can say to myself, this is $300. It's a card. I can get pulls. I can get enough shards for him. Maybe I get something else out of the pulls. Maybe I don't. It sucks. Whatever. But the end goal is that I don't have to hope that I'm getting the card anymore. I can tell
Right.
myself for X amount of dollars, even if it maybe seems crazy to some people, that's a guaranteed card. Some other people are spending, how many hundreds upon thousands right now chasing Gargano on that event because there was no guarantee there was no guarantee for anything on him. Even if you buy all the packs in the store, you have to just keep pulling until you inevitably hit him. It's the same thing with Hollywood Hulk Hogan. And I think they really need to take a step back and look at how much money they could make if they had more events similar to Drew. Because even though I was down 2 of those premium characters in Ricochet and Rey Mysterio, I saw the value, I saw the worth, and I decided, all right, it was worth it. And I'm just an example of however many other people are out there that are thinking similarly. You know.
So-
Well, it's like I've said before. They would rather get $200 from one person than get $50 from 10 people.
It's a bad mentality.
It's really dumb.
So, about the Drew thing, I was missing Ray, Lita, and whatever the other
Ricochet?
one you were. Yeah, Ricochet, exactly. And I liked him from his coach, and then when you see the bonus damage one, that's like that's immune to gem damage and all that crap. So right away, I start thinking, okay, this is a guy that could potentially ignore all the straps and all that crap.
Yep.
And I actually spent close to 40 million coin leveling guys up in the modern for the talent for that, and I got to within $150 of Drew, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna spend. I've canceled all my subs pretty much now. I don't do Triple H anymore, and this is how I'm going to spend, like, going forward, is only when I can get a guy and he looks like he might possibly be a game changer, or even better, a trainer I really like for a guy I already have.
Oh,
Yeah.
And Drew has kind of the potential for both, because you take Kevin Nash with gear and
Yep.
Drew as a coach.
Yep.
I mean, that's a lot. And then he also works on Big Sexy too, so
Yep.
it's pretty good all around. And I spent when I wouldn't have spent. That's the last time actually I've spent recently was for Drew, because I could guarantee getting him. Otherwise, I feel sick. If you spend like $100 and you literally have nothing to show for it, it makes me sick. So
Right.
Yep.
Imagine the people that are spending thousands, you know, like how do you go through that mentality of spending thousands and then getting nothing for it? It has to feel awful. But no, man, Drew is a game changer, like you were saying. That one move is a monster. It gets increased if you use Roman Reigns as a trainer. It increases the damage on the bonus. I tested it out also on a strap with the medals. If you put the medals on it for increased red gem damage, it increases the damage on the bonus for the black move. You can get that thing up to almost 20k bonus damage per red gem. on the
No
board.
way.
Yes,
Jeez.
that's why I was telling you that thing is a monster when you fully load it up. And like Cable was just saying, it's not really hurt by gem damage reduction. It's hurt by move damage reduction, even though you're increasing it with gem damage bonuses. So it's kind of interesting how that works. But yeah, he's a monster. And one final note with him, yeah, when you get him to 9k, the column breaks doing extra damage is nice, but that one extra column break generate on Big Kev, everyone knows that on any Discord server that I'm probably the biggest Big Kev mark in the game. And I've got the gear for him. I have Scott Hall on him, and Farouk. I don't even run an MP trainer. And now with Drew McIntyre on him, that chokeslam is a choose 7 column break. So if you have
that's the board.
yeah,
Yeah,
if you have 2 black gems on either the left side or the right side of the board that are touching, you're set to go, and you literally blow up the entire board. Not to mention that you recharge that move to choose 7 more column breaks to place onto the board, even if there isn't another set of 7 black gems to blow up. So the recycling is nasty. The power is nasty. I'm one of the hugest Big Kev fans.
And you
that
got
there is,
that
man.
striker damage too.
Yeah.
yep.
I forgot completely until you mentioned that I have Big Kev's gear.
Yep. That dude. I didn't really want to go on any tangents or anything, but anybody feel like they kind of dropped the ball on that one with the Big Kev gear versus Scott Hall gear, where I thought that they should have left it as is. I thought having Scott Hall's gear and Big Kev's gear was like 480,000 ingots was a good price for each of them, and then they locked Scott Hall's up behind like a fuse and shards and all this stuff for like 1.5 million ingots. They
Right.
really screwed a lot of people out of trying to better their Scott Hall, which that whole that second NWO event was actually about, mainly Scott Hall there. I think
Yeah,
they
that
really
sucked.
dropped it.
I'm not a fan of them switching up things mid-contest. Like people pre-plan their strategy of
Yep.
how they're going to acquire certain things, and just like that, like, oh well, things are changed. Do the best you can. I'm not a fan of that at all.
No, that's BS. Like once
And
you release it, once you start like either spending, planning, resources, money, whatever it is,
Yeah.
that's like bait and switch. That I'm not okay with that stuff. I am curious. So, like the Drew card has some cool mechanics. We got the bonus damage for every red gem. You also the first time they're introducing a move with massive damage that has a small percentage chance.
Or the
Well,
bleed.
Mm.
yeah. Well, all of us probably aren't a fan of that low of a chance. It does bring up interesting question of what they might possibly do going forward with cool or unique mechanics that do that kind of thing, or potentially maybe they release a Drew skill plate that improves the chance on that bleed.
Oh.
That would be pretty interesting. I can't lie.
that's
I
actually
know the number is rather massive for the bleed. However, that low of a percentage, I can't see myself ever using.
that's hilarious though. Is like 20% bleed chance. Bah, 1.9% chance to pull something. Man, sign me up.
Now here's the issue though. I'll
True.
tell you what with that bleed move, and I'll tell you what it gets under everybody's skin. It's a 2 MP move, and it's
Yep.
not 1. If it was a 1 MP move, man, that would be so much more reliable. And
Yep.
even if you cut the bleed in half from 100k to 50k, I think people would still find a way to fit it into some builds because at that point they would use their architect Seth or somebody else. I think there's a coach for it, Kyrie,
Yeah, Kyrie.
extra bleed damage.
Mm.
You could definitely squeeze 2 things in on there if it was a 1 MP move, even with a low percent chance to throw out 50k, 75k bleed damage instead of 100. Even if you kept that same 10 or 20%
Well,
proc chance.
what about a 1 MP with only a 10% chance to proc?
I think that that's still something that people would find a way to work into a build because he has enough viability with that choose destroy move where if you have that on this in a set 2, you can say, "Oh, well, I'm not going to cause a pin if I choose 9 gems. Let me choose 1 blue gem. I can put at least 2 sets of stacks of the bleed on somebody and now there's a 20% chance in that aspect."
What I don't like is the randomness.
Yeah.
If they start introducing randomness, like a random chance to change all the blues to reds on the board, that shit's just gonna piss me off.
A little bit of me is a kind of a gambler sometimes. Like I love consistency, right? Because you can consistently play, plan, whatever. But at the same time, I love board shuffles, and that's total random chance too. And I could see this move. You know, all the stupid tours now that are so hard. I'm willing to take a risk on a bleed like that, procking once or twice,
Okay.
and then win that tour easily, right? Because it's not gonna the strap's not gonna mess with it. And if I have to die and reheal and try again or whatever, no big deal because I was gonna lose anyway.
Fair enough. That's a very good aspect of thinking of it.
I didn't think of that. Yeah. Okay.
I back to that bonus aspect damage. I think Gargano's honestly a very underrated card. Going back to him for just 2 seconds. Obviously, not a lot of people want to go and chase after him, but the card itself, it could be very devastating with such a low MP cost of doing that bonus damage per green gem on the board. Again, you don't necessarily want to make green gems match to get the extra bonus damage, but you could definitely do some major damage. I think it's only a 1 or 2 MP charge on the purple for the bonus damage on all the green
Yeah,
gems.
2 charge, I believe.
A
Yeah.
2 charge. So yeah, even if it's every other turn, you can average 10 plus green gems on the board with all of your other MP colors. or if you have a choose destroy, you can do it once on the same turn and stack it again. I think there's ways around those armored skill plates and skill straps with those types of moves, and you can also put like a green gem damage on a strap for Gargano, and actually increase that bonus damage similar to the red gem damage on Drew.
I would say he has a different kind of learning curve. Like, it's no secret. When Kofi first came out, I thought he was trash. But then he has this warm-up phase that once he gets going, my God, like run for the hills.
Oh, yeah.
So I believe there is a learning curve to Gargano because, like you said, that 2 MP charge move can be very devastating if you can get it to go off at least, every other turn, or at least somewhere you can get it off on every turn. I just don't know how. But I feel he's very Kofi-esque in how they built him.
I agree. I mean, everybody, they have to learn how to play the characters the way they play. That's why, like, the videos that you do, I don't watch them because my play style is different than yours.
Yeah.
You said Daniel Bryan is garbage. I think he's one of the best characters because once he gets going, you literally can't stop him.
We're talking Daniel Bryan Trickster, everybody, just in case anyone that's not aware.
No, but I actually took my Daniel Bryan to 4-star bronze because I was forced to play with him for this tour. And I was like, he's, Broken was right. He's pretty fun. So, yeah.
At 4-star, he becomes a force to be reckoned with. I can't lie. I actually worked my way through his tour at 3-star, the hard tour at 3-star bronze, at level 40 with max moves. It's been an interesting learning curve, to say the least.
Well, you don't even have his good move yet. That's the problem.
No, I don't.
Bob, I'm up to. I have 3 tours left on his, and he's 3 SG moves maxed, but not levels maxed. And those 2 trap gems together, you can do a lot with that, providing you're willing to use a few props here and there in cash kickouts. Obviously,
okay. So, again, tiny little side tangent. The props this month, that prize wall, that Bailey's Hella Open store nonsense.
Oh yeah. Steel props though.
Dude, are you kidding me? That has been I think by far the one thing that I want to give a round of applause to Scopely for letting us get access to pay-to-win only props without actually having to pay for them. Those lie, cheat, and steal props are by far some of the greatest purchases I've ever made with any sort of thing I've gotten from a monthly. It's interesting that they're giving a kick-out prop, which they didn't have before because you can just use IGC for that. But when you compare that to 5 of those ultra lie, cheat, and steal props, when we were talking about tours before, you can use one of those props, which is 40,000 health that you're stealing and you're gaining, obviously, which is an 80k swing on any tour. You can make so much progress with just those guys. So huge props to them for that one from my aspect. Also, shout out because a lot of people have been getting IGC from them. So just wanted to toss that mention out.
That's all I've been getting is lie, cheat, and steal and cash. Yeah.
Yep, same. Oh, also with Gargano, if he ever gets a skip turn belt, that he comes really scary probably with that moveset.
So now here's the issue that I was making a joke about, because the leaderboard, if you got first place, you actually do get a skip turn belt for a modern technician. The question is, do you put it on him, or if you have Tech Kofi, you put it on Tech Kofi?
Oh man, that's disgusting.
Right?
I'd say you still got to go Kofi probably, but I don't know.
Kofi is perk. He's perk proof.
Yeah, that's an issue, man. That 1 MP move compared to the 2, that I think if you get a double setup of that, that's brutal.
You'd be hard pressed to pick Gargano over Black either, I would say.
I don't think Tech Black can actually utilize that extra turn, though. I was thinking about it. If I got it, I don't even think I'd put it on him, because he always pins.
That's true.
He always has one move ready. So now here's the flip side. The one time I would like it is when that feud lane comes, provided there's an incentive to feud again with that whole solo milestone. when that feud lane buff comes and says plus 200 or 300% bleed damage, or that perk that comes with 100 or 200, 300% bleed damage, that's when I want to use my tech black, because I can end up stacking and wildcarding, getting a whole bunch of turns to stack 3 or 4 stacks of bleeds on them before it's their turn, put them in a submission, and if they have 250,000 health or less, they're dead on turn 1. You know, it's that's fun.
A question about that is, at that point, would you consider Drew's bleed at 2 MP with those huge boosts to it?
Oh man, sheesh. Yeah,
I
if you're talking
wouldn't-
about 400%ish,
Yeah, but
like 400%. You're talking about like 400,000 health, man.
even with the skip turn belt, being at 25% or whatever the odds are, I don't really run into it often, and most times when I do run into it, it's when I pin the opponent, and when you pin the opponent with a skip turn, you do not actually get the skip turn.
I found it to be pretty useful on Wolfpack Sting, not after he gets going, but it's any, like, yeah, it's a 25% chance, but anytime it happens, like, to go from not starting on turn 1 with his cycle to starting on turn 1 is a huge difference.
Well, yeah, I would agree with that. Like, Zombie Austin, I no longer run Enzo or Akam or whatever you want to call it on him. I run Daniel Bryan now. That's kind of why I wanted Gargano, because to be able to make 10 silence gems and then make 10 silence into purple, especially with his gear, 100% more damage on silence gems, plus Gargano was what, 15 or 25% more silence gem damage.
More damage, yeah, it's pretty nice.
Wow.
But even still, I mean, you're talking about your purple gems are hitting really hard at 4-star gold. And Zombie Austin becomes a real nightmare at that point.
The one other thing I kind of thought they dropped the ball on this month comparatively is the perks, the turnbuckles. They really dropped the ball on the tour ones. There's a lot of months that they front load the tour perks in like the first 10 or 12 milestones where you can fully max that perk out, and then there's other months similar to this one where you have to pretty much climb up all the way to the final milestone in order to get that max milestone tour perk.
I agree. I think this month, more than most, you really needed that tour perk for Bailey to get going, especially when they're using the double gem damage against Bailey on hell mode and throttling her tokens at the same time. But I also know that they were one short at the end of it because of a rounding issue in the game's code.
Yeah, it's not the first time that's happened with the tour turnbuckles before either. But to just sprinkle it on top, not only the Bailey nodes, the Daily Triumph nodes. They mentioned that this month was pretty much a test month. If they were going to do that, they probably should have given everybody that they had to do a daily tour with Rusev or whoever it may have been, some tour turnbuckles up front to see if they can maybe get rolling and to see if they can maybe get some people actually interested in the month instead of, oh, it's Rusev and his opponent is Woken Matt Hardy, who's like 14,000 talent. Lovely, lovely way to start the month.
Yeah.
I feel like it's on purpose though too, because you look at even some of the tours that have the big Sasha shards available, like Daniel Bryan's tour. Tour perks really help to get started. You can drop your MP trainers, and then the big ingot tours, same thing with the higher powered guys, even on hard. Those tour perks, if we have them, you can do a lot more easier. And it feels like they really are trying to force, I mean, not even just a 4-star to beat these guys on hell mode, but you got to think about potentially being strapped or having a really high 4-star. And it just doesn't, it's not feasible. You can't level a guy up like that. You just can't get him there, like, or you shouldn't.
You mean to tell me not everybody has a 4-star gold Rusev? Come on.
Exactly.
I mean, same thing with that NXT Championship event. You're dead right. I mean, how many people have a 4-star gold? Velveteen, Ricochet, Aleister Black, Triple H Authority, NXT Roman, and Seth, all NXT that are strapped up.
In all fairness, I do have a 4-star silver NXT.
You probably pulled that, didn't you?
Yeah, I pulled him about 10 times, not even exaggerating.
Hey, I made Rusev 4 bronze, and I mean, even I think I'm crazy. Why do that?
I mean, there's some characters that you have that you want to do. Like I said I was gonna make 4-star gold American Alpha a team and put it on Showdown Defense before I eventually closed this game up for good. I mean, you have some things that you want to do.
Yeah.
I made Mankind 4-star gold right here.
Oh boy.
Marking out, baby. Marking out.
I've seen some gameplay of him at 4 gold. He's not bad. I
No,
want this Mankind at 4 gold. He's not bad. He's not great, but he's not bad.
he's better than people think, but he's not amazing for sure.
Exactly, yeah.
Who is it?
Mankind, 4-star gold.
Showboat Mankind.
Yeah, I don't think he's that bad. I think people are sleeping on Showboat.
Oh my God, Showboat Cena, you mean?
I mean, if you play him the right way, he can get his moves off every turn, and it's annoying.
I still don't think it's enough to work in these days. We were just talking about how if you need to get to turn 2 in these days with your matches, that's already unfortunately too slow. You're in the day and age of every turn, or if it's not every turn, every other turn you're gonna hit the big move. And if it's not one of those two and it takes a second turn after that or an extra turn after that, it's not
Well,
good.
he was from an era where the moves were meant to sequence, and then when you hit the final move in the sequence, the match was supposed to be done. And those days are gone.
What do you guys think when 5-star rolls out? I mean, we're obviously going to probably have massive health pools and stuff. Do you think we'll actually go back to 3-turn, 4-turn, 5-turn matches instead of I'm going to kill you first turn in feud, or stun you first turn in feud and keep you locked down?
Absolutely, because look at the transition to 4-star. It slowed everything right to a halt where who was your best tech? Doink. Why? Because he recycled and you can get his moves off every turn. That's the exact same thing that's going to happen. Then they're going to let the throttle up as we move on to 5-star gold. But at that point, I mean, a lot of us are probably going to be ditching the game by then because 5-star gold's the cap here.
I really think the issue is, and like you just said, that 5 gold is the cap. I think that when we hit 5 bronze, that's when the whole moveset becomes unlocked. That all those locked moves become unlocked, and you can start running people with 3 of the same color.
Oh yeah.
Like you can, for all you know, Undisputed Future Seth might have a super awesome blue move at 5-star bronze, and you're running random greens into purples, choose into purples, and instead of the other choose into purples, which is a green move, because you're turning those into purples, you now have another blue move that does, let's say, random generate into purples, whatever it could be. It could
buffs
even
purple gem damage.
yeah, exactly. I was just going to say buffs purple gem damage by 100% for the next 3 turns, something crazy like Piper, you know? I think that's when Scopely is going to be really hard pressed to try and come out with a 5-star meta, because if they just come out with more basic standard moves on people, I don't think that's going to help anybody. Like if you come out with a nonsense move on Mark Henry that says generate more botch gems, it's like, why do you need to generate more botch gems? His finisher already generates the whole board if you have the gear. Something maybe like do increased damage or something along those lines.
Turn all botch gems into red.
Yeah, something. There has to be for every character, there has to be a large increase from 4 to 5-star, I think, because it's not just one move that's unlocking, it's the full move set. And if they don't do that full move set, then it's going to be weird. That's going to be very weird.
That's when your Demon Balor is going to become your most OP 5-star. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Everyone's got him at 2-star silver probably. So
a lot of people took him up for Andrade though, and for
3 gold, man. I got him 3 gold.
Yeah, I took him up for Luke Harper. However, like I said, they're going to focus on the characters, give them the good moves that have the crappiest move sets that nobody's going to use, because now you're going to have to sink all these resources into these new guys. I mean, they did it for Mark Henry. Who wanted to take Mark Henry up? They did it for Trickster Big Show. Nobody wanted to take Trickster Big Show. Those two were the laughing stock of, oh, well, who can take up the crappiest character? So,
Yeah, no,
Neville, baby. Neville and Ryback, time to tag team forever.
Yep, Bildo who came back and took him the 4-star gold just 'cause.
Yeah, they'll never make Ryback good because he's no longer with the company.
I think the final topic we'll talk about, which I think is a funny one that we mentioned, was how they treated the 420 event this year compared to last year. I'm pretty sure last year was the LSD event, the Luger in the Sky with Diamonds event on 420, which I'm pretty sure was a pretty interesting one. Was the Diamond Spend event, right? For the faction?
Yeah.
There's a diamond event tomorrow?
Yeah.
Good old days.
You heard it here first. Diamond event coming tomorrow.
Diamond event coming tomorrow. This is for April 26th, so Diamond event coming April 27th.
Speaking of diamonds, though, have you guys noticed, like, I'm not getting any more this month?
Nope.
Have you noticed that too?
Yeah, same here.
It's something they're holding back on. Obviously, they got something planned. But,
I think they want to make us do talent ups because the only thing that really has a massive number of diamonds in it anymore are talent ups.
Yep.
I mean, there was only like 6 this month so far, so you might be onto something. Let's do an NXT talent up. What are we doing this weekend? Did you say
an NXT talent up? But yeah, so the Luger in the Sky with Diamonds event, actually spending diamonds, getting things out of it, compared to this year's 420 event, which was, anybody take a stab at it and remember, because that's how bad it was in my eyes. I don't remember.
I didn't even partake in this 420, so I don't even know what it was. I think it was
Honestly, the only thing I really liked about it was 420 tickets for Helmut. That's about it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that was good.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay, gotcha. That was for the Dude Love
was
Blitz,
there anything...
right? Yeah.
Oh, but you had to have awkward characters at 4-star, didn't you?
You needed like Big Boss Man or something.
VIP Boss Man, Ted DiBiase.
And Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, Trickster Daniel Bryan. Yeah.
Everybody has him at 4-star gold. If not, they're really sitting the...
Well, because the cost of entry was so low, doing the hard mode wasn't that bad. So, it was okay. It was all right.
But you needed a massive amount to do your share of the event.
I think it was only 20 matches, wasn't it, or so on hard mode? Is that
24.
I think so. Yeah, it was
100K. How many nodes was
it? Was 6 node blitz, right?
6. Yeah, 6.
That was too much for me. 120.
Yeah, but that was also on a Tuesday and Wednesday or whatever it was.
Oh, wait, there was
get out of here. I'm working.
There was a top line bonus for having both VIPs. That's what it was. That made it easier. Yeah, that was it.
Plus 3 MP and 100% gem damage, I think. So
HBK.
Oh yeah.
HBK was really nasty.
I gave up on the VIP characters a little while ago, and I decided when they came out with that new Charlotte pack, that they had a decent price. It was 6 months for $40. I'm like, well, if I'm already VIP 10 or 11, I'll pay $40 for half a year of loot boxes. Sure, why not? Screw it.
Yeah.
I don't need the characters really. I might have VIP.
Plus you get
but I
the
don't need
cash and
characters.
everything.
Yeah, it's worth it in that aspect.
I had canceled my HBK, but it didn't actually expire until like 3 or 4 days ago. So I was able to use them for the Blitz before it expired.
Mine's canceled too, but I had done the 6-month one to get the 1 month free, so I still have HBK for a while.
Yeah.
Well, before we move on to ending this, I want your guys' opinion on the whole aspect of where's Ciampa, because he's got to be coming soon, and I'm only going to be able to talk about it until I find something out about it. What are thought processes of what Ciampa is going to be in? You think he's going to be premium? You think he's going to be next month's?
I think, just speculation, I think he's going to be next month's character, but you're going to need Gargano heavily to get him.
That's what I'm afraid of. I want him super, super bad. He's my favorite active guy.
Well,
Love that guy.
I think he's more of a premium at the end of the month, or I don't think he's going to be a month-long event because they put things in the code for the loot tokens, and it is the Colossal Classic. Don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but also don't really care
No, it's
because
on
it was
it's
in the
on
code.
Intel. It's on Intel server. It's
So, with it being Colossal Classic, I'm thinking we're looking at another Legends sort of event.
Haku and Giant, baby. You heard it here first.
natural disasters.
No, man, the colossal connection.
If we get him in a thing like Drew, that would be best case scenario for me. Like where you can do some grinding, some talent up, and then if you're missing a guy or two, some spend. Then that's what I'm hoping for because I'm not going to straight loot pull for Champa.
That's what
And
I'm
that's
thinking it'll be. But my fear, honestly, is that they're gonna make some sort of tag link between him and Gargano, and make
Yep.
Ciampa not good enough to stand on his own without the tag link. That's what I'm
That would-
afraid of.
but
Well,
with
you could look at Dango and Breeze. Both of them are pretty good in their own right, but obviously as a tag team, they're so much better. Same thing goes for Luke Harper. I haven't really used Rowan by himself, but Harper by himself, he's an animal.
He's,
Harper's best mode is to come in and blast all them multiply gems. So
he's pretty good, but the issue is with everybody being strapped up nowadays. If you toss Harper in a feud lineup, he gets chewed out, easy peasy, like real easy
I don't
peasy
know.
nowadays, because
I
it's all
don't-
gem damage. But that buff with his tag link buff,
Yeah.
that's
But,
I think what it's going to be similar to Ciampa.
I agree. I mean, I think the coaches are kind of what killed Harper long before any straps did. The reduced multiplies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They really need to tone them motherfuckers back because 70% is massive.
no other strategy gets that kind of nerf at all.
I don't think they will though because like Dingo and Breeze have they got the tag up, tag down thing, and then if you think about Bludgeon Brothers in their I don't know, like they're maybe they will, but I don't know that they're gonna be linked quite like that. I could see like a plus MP thing, like the whole Hogan T thing or Hall of Fame, but I don't know if because neither of them seem to have any like kind of like Dango to me is the most versatile, game changing, does all this weird crap, can tag you, get ready to tag you in over and over again. So I don't know if they will be tagged like that. I'd see it more being like a crazy tag link and like maybe increased gem damage, like because that would potentially help Gargano's 2 MP move or something like that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking it's going to be, is something similar instead of 250%, like the Bludgeon Brothers 250 to 1 gem. I think it'll be something along the lines of 150 or 200% to, let's say, green for Gargano and let's say black for Ciampa if he's a striker. But he has a move similar to that.
What if they did something completely outlandish, like +1 to all MP anytime a gem?
Anytime a gem is broken, you said?
Yeah, so even if they break 3 black gems, they get +1 to every one of their gem.
Oh,
What if they both had a low MP bleed move and their tag link was to increase the odds that their bleed move would trigger? Not bad. You wouldn't want to face them in a showdown.
It'd be good if they came out with a new Dolph Ziggler and tried to pair him up to the Drew McIntyre for that.
Oh,
But,
man. I was just going to say that's another one that'll be amazing at 5 stars. Acro Ziggler.
Yeah.
Somehow he'll have a killer 5-star move.
Pretty much any acro in the game that isn't Ricochet, Ray, or Andrade, or Z-Taker will be really good.
Yeah.
He's going to have a move that says every time that you heal, deal damage to your opponent equal to the same amount. It's the only way he becomes viable.
I'm surprised they haven't capitalized on leech gems more.
It's
I mean,
because
Oh,
they
I
got...
forgot
it
about
was-
League Gems.
It was actually such a great idea with Edge. I'm
There's no
surprised they
reason-
haven't done anything.
There's no reason for anyone to be put out now that has heal gems as opposed to leech gems. They're just
Absolutely.
completely superior.
Absolutely. I mean, it's when they work.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
What was it, 6 or 7 months until
Oh,
they got
wow.
Edge to work? Jeez.
Well, thinking about stuff they do, like you take someone like Kane was maybe without gear, he's on the slow side and was maybe low mid tier possibly.
Maybe.
But then you maybe not even that. But then you give him 6 MP gear and all of a sudden he's in the conversation for one of the best powerhouses in the game. So they can really decide to make gear and make anyone essentially top tier.
I mean, yeah, the gear they made for Mark Henry, for crying out loud, puts the entire board into botch gems. You know,
this is Santa Claus gear, right?
That's the Santa Claus gear. It's nuts. They can really make a gear, and they can try to make a character. I mean, they tried to do it with what's his name, Trickster Brett. And no hate to anyone that is a huge Bret Hart fan or Mark. I apologize. I know some of you have him at 4-star gold out there with that gear and love it. I just, these days with all the armor straps, it seems like such a waste. Wait. Nice, but you know,
Wait, NWO Brett got it?
No, not NWO Brett. Trick Brett with the gear that gives him +6 purple gems on the generate, which is a lot. It's just.
I'm a fan of it. Not a massive fan of it. Daniel Bryan is still #1 to me. But, I mean, hey, you guys could laugh all you want, but once he gets going, you don't.
It's funny, there's a guy in Tubman, Orson Welles, he's a big Kane mark, and he already had Kane at 4 gold when that gear came rolling around, so he was in hog heaven.
I must imagine that he must have been just shoving it in everyone's
face. Yeah, he was flipping, man. He was all about it.
I'd like to see them get some old gears, the Akam gear. Well, I think they recently released the Akam gear again. But I'm talking about gear like Tech Brett and stuff. Those are the gears that they need to somehow re-release, because Tech Brett becomes pretty much a Luger at that point.
It's pretty good.
And
that's one I don't have.
I can say I would rate actually taking Kane's gear over Volkov's, and that is one of the smartest, lucky decisions I've made in this game, because I didn't think Kane was going to be as good as it turns out he has been.
Absolutely, one of the most regrettable things that I look back on. I am happy that I do have. Again, I'm happy that I have the Volkov gear, but I mean, yeah, everyone that has taken that Kane gear, that has created a new character on their roster. If there's a Kane requirement and people don't have Zombie Kane, that Kane gear makes that Big Red Machine Kane a very viable target for that requirement.
I think with gear, he's actually better than Z Kane.
Oh yeah, I would agree. I would definitely agree.
What do you guys think, since we touched on the whole 5-star opening up, what do you guys think on increasing trainer abilities? Will Matt Hardy ever see a +3 to multiplies at 5-star? Do you think this is something we'll see?
I think that's been needed for a while, and I've been hoping for a while, ever since they moved Vince up, not once but twice, from 5K to 7,500, and then they gave him that 3-star gold buff at 13K. I've been hoping that they would do that for other characters for a while now. Arn's buff, where Arn has such a drastic amount of botch gems up to 5K, 2-parter, I'd like to see Arn go up to 9K, if not higher, to get more botch gems on certain guys, because botch gems, even though it's good, is not it's not viable enough these days. And B, I'd like to see other people have some other interesting buffs that may go up to 9 bonuses by 5K or 10 bonuses by 9K, something along those lines.
I agree with the whole Arn thing, but what they first need to do is move Arn's training ability onto Tech Brett, swap those two out, and then give Tech Brett more, because as of right now, they will not do anything more with Arn while he's not under contract.
Right.
Well, yeah, it's funny because the Protect gems took such a big hit when we jumped to 4-star, and Botch gems were still solid at 4 silver. Tech Brett could put somebody down at 4 silver, but when the health effectively doubled, Botch Gems they're in that spot now where they need some help, I think.
I think
So-
we're gonna wrap it up on that note. Final 2 cents that I have to throw in, since Showdown is the current event topic of the day when we were talking all about the coins. Everyone that's doing that whole lowered defense thing, and yeah, I was just gonna say, I know Davey has his 2 cents on this one too. I just wanted to bring that up. If you're gonna attack people with a lowered defense, you gotta realize there's no benefit of really doing it if you still have a higher defense. If you lower yours and you attack somebody with a low one, it just kind of keeps the cycle going, and you get to go through your showdown within about an hour, maybe an hour and a half,
Yeah.
on day 2. But when you have a high defense and you keep attacking people with a low defense, you're gonna inevitably come across just a bunch of 4-star golds when you're up at like 1400 notoriety, because no one
Yeah.
wants to return fire on you, and you're like, oh, let me just keep picking off these low guys, and you're gonna maybe be, short of whatever milestone it is you're looking for, and it's gonna just take you a little bit longer to do it that way, and it's not anything that's Scopely oriented at all. It's something the community threw together a while ago for, I think it was the Z-Page event is when it all kicked off.
Yes. Yeah.
And after that, it just kind of became...
They're not a huge fan of the lowering defense, and that's why we won't have another Z-Page style thing again where everybody was able to get it.
Yeah, well, I mean...
I'll take my coins and Showdown coins and be okay with that.
I was going to say, man, they have too many mess-ups as is with all these coins that you can hoard and hold on to.
That's
they're
a whole
trying-
other topic too,
Yeah,
man.
they're
That's
trying-
huge.
Yeah, I like the maxing out on the Gargano event. I really like how they did that, where you can only use so many showdown coins
I mean,
to get points.
yeah, that should be a standard from now on, and that's coming from somebody who actually did end up getting first from hoarding coins. Ended up getting Tyler Breezed 4-star bronze from the leaderboard one time. But yeah,
Lucky ducky.
lucky ducky, shucky ducky, quack quack. But on that note, I think we're gonna call it for the roundtable. Thank you all for joining us. Again, I am 2Bob29. We have a wonderful cast along with us. If you all want to just go ahead and say your names one final time, and if anybody has any final closing words, definitely feel free to shout them out.
Yeah, Danger Kenny B, and thanks to Bob for hosting. It's been a blast, man. Let's do it again.
Yeah, Davey D here. Really enjoyed it. It was really chill and laid back to have conversation with these brilliant minds.
Broken 963, I just fell on my head in support of Cable Guy, and see you guys.
Yeah. Also known as Cable Guy, and other than the last little bit, it was amazing. And just remember, there's a reason I'm working retail. It's not because I'm smart.
All right, and coming to you from the lounge, that was our first iteration of the Roundtable podcast. We will see you guys hopefully either every 2 weeks or every month. We're still working out a schedule on that, depending on how much content there really is in the game to go over. I think we hit about an hour and a half this time, so it's a pretty good time, I think, for every 2 weeks to a month. We'll iron those details out. But thank you guys so much for joining in and listening, and hope you guys have a good one.